Next, we will hear from Sister Joetta Venneman.
Is one speaker enough down here this low?
We can hear you.
I'm a little challenged. Thank you, members of the Metro Council. I begin with a couple of quotes. The first from Karen Armstrong, founder of the Global Movement for the Charter for Compassion. She states, quote, "A compassionate city is an uncomfortable city. A city that is uncomfortable when anyone is homeless or hungry. Uncomfortable if every child isn't loved and given rich opportunities to grow and thrive. Uncomfortable when as a community we don't treat our neighbors as we would wish to be treated," unquote. Mayor Fisher goes on to describe a compassionate city in this way, quote, "Being a compassionate city is both the right thing and the necessary thing to do to ensure that we take all of our citizens. There's a role for all of us in making sure no one is left behind or goes wanting," unquote. What is clear in both of these quotes is the perspective that a value is given to the human person, thus providing them with human dignity and an intention to treat all as sacred and loved as neighbor. Tonight, we've heard some stories of workers in our own community of Louisville struggling to meet the basic needs of their families and themselves. I ask, are these examples of a compassionate city? Are all citizens treated with human dignity and loved as neighbor? People who work full-time in our community should not live in poverty, and they should not have to stand in line at community centers or anywhere else because once they've paid a bill, they have almost nothing left to pay for the rest of their monthly expenses. It's time to examine our own hearts and reach for the depth as indicated in our Christian scriptures, where we are told to love our neighbor as ourselves, and that this is one of the two greatest commandments. For when we reach the depth of our hearts where God is, we cannot respond without compassion, rooted in love to our neighbor. This perspective is best articulated perhaps by the Dalai Lama when he speaks, quote, "When we are motivated by compassion and wisdom, the results of our actions benefit everyone, not just our individual selves or some immediate convenience," unquote. To achieve this common good, as it were, as the Dalai Lama describes, where every person wins at making a minimum wage and no citizen is left wanting, our U.S. Catholic bishops offer us an image of the table. In a sense, the table we seek for everyone rests on four institutions or legs. First, what families and individuals can do. Second, what the community and religious institutions do. Third, what the private sector can do. And fourth, what the government can do. As the minimum wage ordinance continues to be reflected upon, discussed, and voted upon here in Louisville, it's imperative that those coming to the table be challenged to address just who is sacred, whose dignity is being promoted, and how is the common good being attained through their suggestions for a solution. Just how compassionate of a city will Louisville be? And can we make sure that no one is left behind or unwanting? I urge each of you to make sure Louisville is a compassionate city and that no one is left behind or goes wanting by raising the minimum wage to $10.10. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next.